Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and today is my birthday. Roll it, Tony.
Look, a building on Fifth Avenue with doorman from hell and that beady-eyed neighbor in the lobby.
Nikolai? Oh, he's not half bad for a Euro trash gigolo.
That woman he was with had to be twice his age. I mean, I actually heard him call her money.
Well, she did adopt him.
That element.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just seen my first guest today performing the classic, the Morani Strad play in November 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, he's an outstanding stage actor, a stage actor. Oh my goodness, with nearly 50 roles under his belt. Roles in such productions as My Fair Lady, The Unsinkable Molly Brown, The Wizard of Oz, he plays the Tin Man, The Odd Couple, and many, many more. Ladies and gentlemen, with great pride, please welcome actor extraordinaire, David Nevell. David, bless you for being here today.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much. Will you just spend my days with me, just walk around with me and talk about me like that? It does a man good. Happy birthday.
All day long. You are a stage actor. The actors, my good news is that, when you had your career, how did you first get into acting?
Well, it's interesting. I actually first wanted to go into politics. I majored in political science in college, and I really just did plays in school just to kind of fool around. But then when I got to college, I was cast in a play there, and then I really caught the bug, and I realized that politics is a really, as we all know, a really difficult business, and that I probably had more possibilities for exacting change in the world, which is what I was really idealistic about and what I remain idealistic about, using live theater. I think that people go to the theater the same way that people go to church, and they come together as a community to heal and to transform themselves and the world that they live in. I think that telling stories and having stories told to us is a need, and I think far more good in the world seems to happen as a result of people seeing plays and musicals than conventional politics. Sorry to say.
That's okay. Tell it like it is, because I love being entertained, but there's something very, very special about being a stage actor. Do you agree, sir?
Oh, I absolutely agree. And some of my favorite actors are the ones that do everything. You know, they do live theater because you have to be trained in a particular way in order to work in live theater. That's very different from the training that you need to get to do screen work. Both are incredibly important, but as we've all seen, actors who don't have any training in doing theater have a tough time crossing that bridge once they establish a career in film and television, have a tough time going toward theater, whereas actors who are trained in the theater, I think, can really do anything.
Folks, I need to tell you that, because if you go up on IMDb, you'll find that David has 4 TV or film roles. So I just want to sidetrack on that for just a moment there. You did give it a try, but you said, that ain't for me. This ain't for me. Back to
well, actually, I'd love to do more television and film. I've just always worked in the theater.
Gotcha.
And I would love to do more TV and film, but in this business, you tend to, you get known for the things that you do a lot. And one of the things I'm really trying to do is, learn more about how I can do more screen work in addition to the theater work that I do. I love live theater, but, I'm increasingly doing more voiceover and screen work, and I love that. I love learning. And
voiceover, that's a gift from God, and you really got one. Definitely.
So
All right, back to stage acting, and then what did it feel like the first time you stepped on a stage, sir?
Terror, I think. I think different actors come to acting and for different reasons, and
Yes.
I'm actually an introvert. I used to be much more of an extrovert, but nowadays I'm much more of an introvert than I ever was. And maybe when I was young, I really was terrified and excited to have so many people seeing me and hearing me, because everybody wants to be seen and heard.
Yes.
Um, uh, and I probably was, terrified about audiences see everything, they really see everything. And so you have to get comfortable with that. And I think the way that I got comfortable with that is just knowing, like, that's the thing I love about live theater is this is something that's happening between us, between the audience and the actor. That's not something I'm just presenting to you. And audiences sometimes aren't aware of how much they are contributing to the relationship between them and an actor. It's really true. If you talk to any actor, they will tell you that it's a relationship. And so the more I embraced that relationship and saw it like, okay, it's going to be a new thing every time, then it's a lot of fun and a lot less terrifying, because it was terrifying the first time because I thought, oh my God, am I going to remember all my lines? And thinking, oh, this is something that's canned and that I have to deliver, which is not a very fun thing to do.
Got you. David, as I said earlier, I have a bone to pick with a lot of actors and actresses. Anyone who knows me knows about this bone that I have. Folks come here to Hollywood with illusions of grandeur. I want to be a star. Oh, get me in face. Right. They want TV. They want film. But they will not, emphasize that, Brewington, they will not step on the stage. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunately really rare to see an actor who doesn't have training and who just came to LA to be famous, for them to have a crossover career in the theater.
Yes.
And to have a long career. I think the actors that I most admire are the ones who are in it for the art form, who are in it for the personal and collective journey that one goes on when you are acting. As I said, I'm really idealistic about the power of storytelling and the power of acting. And for me, it's about, serving my own, belief in what we can be as a culture and how I can contribute to us all being our highest selves. And that's different from if I said, I just want to be the most famous guy you've ever met. I just want to have it all, And I think that has only increased, my feeling about that has only increased in time. And maybe that hasn't served me because I haven't really set out to be famous. I don't really want to be famous. I want to be a working actor. And I'm one of the lucky ones who does work a lot in the theater. I don't work all the time in the theater. And luckily I, also have a advanced degree that allows me to teach in university. And I get a lot of fulfillment out of teaching a younger generation of actor to train and not just want to be famous. Because of course it's natural when you're young, you just want to make your impact, you just want people to see and hear you, like I said before. But if I can instill the love of craft, that's something that can serve a young person, even if they drop out of the business and don't be an actor. Like there are so many industries, so many things a person can do that they can be better at through training to be an actor.
How many plays have you been in?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I was when you said I had done over 50, I'm like, oh my gosh, I suppose that's true. One of the things that happens is that, and I was told really early on when I first got out of drama school, and I gave my resume to the person who wanted to be my agent, and she's like, you got to take all the Shakespeare off your resume. It's intimidating. And so I've done a tremendous amount of Shakespeare and classical work. I've done mostly classical work because I'm a classically trained actor, but I have to take it all off my resume because, well, it's just too much, and also sort of it's imbalanced in a certain way. especially if I want to work in film and television in addition to theater. So I don't know. That's a great question. I should do the research and find out.
Can you make two resumes, one with the Shakespeare and the other one without the Shakespeare? B or not B?
Already I've got, I mean, even I think on my current resume, which is a very condensed resume, I've got 3 productions of Twelfth Night, Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, you know, because they're still on there for whatever reason. And so that's the Shakespeare play that I've done more than any other Shakespeare play. But I love Shakespeare. Any chance I can get to do Shakespeare again, I take it.
A dear friend of mine, Ted Lange, you know him?
Yeah, I don't know him, but I know of him.
Shakespearean trained.
I've heard that. And that's surprising to a lot of people because they know him from, you know, television.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, we just happen to have pictures of you on some of those plays that you're in. Can you stand? Tony, can you roll the first one? There you are in Driving Miss Daisy. With
Michael Learned, the beautiful and talented Michael Learned, and Lance Nichols, a tremendously talented actor based in New Orleans now.
Yes.
But does a lot of film and television and theater work. Both of them do. It was an honor to be on stage with both of them. You know, they had done that production, I think 6 times together, and each of them have done that play,
right.
But separately, but together they've done it 6 times. And so I was the new guy on that production. So they were really good to me and really welcoming to me. Wow. Both just terrific. What great examples of, let's talk about stage actors.
Yeah.
You know, consummate stage actors.
Next one, A Walk in the Woods.
Yeah, with Tony Abatamarco, also an incredibly talented and longtime stage actor here in LA. Really fantastic guy. Tony and I have done 3 shows together. And he's one of my favorite actors to work with because I know when I'm working with Tony that when things go wrong, and things always go wrong because it's live, you know, and things happen, that we'll make sense of it. We'll figure it out. And, you know, that play, Walk in the Woods, it's he and I on stage for 3 hours.
Woo.
So things go wrong every time we did it, you know, and it was just a pleasure to be with him.
12th Night.
One of the 12th Nights. Okay, yeah. So that's one of the times I played Orsino, which was set in Hollywood during the 40s. That's why you have those fantastic costumes. And that was in a theater called New Swan Theater in Orange County, where they've actually built a pop-up version of Shakespeare's Globe. So it's a circular playhouse in the style of the wooden O that Shakespeare's plays originally played in. Many of them, not 12th Night, but many of them. Yeah, that was fantastic. It's really fun.
Next one, The Scene.
Oh, with Colette Kilroy. Another amazing stage actor who also does film and television. We did that in Santa Barbara probably 10 years ago now, because I remember my daughter was in the crib when I was doing that play up at Santa Barbara. And directed by the amazingly talented stage director, Art Menke. A lot of fun. Yeah, and I played an actor in that play, which is dicey. You know, it's really dicey to play an actor. If you're an actor playing an actor, that can be eesh. Yeah.
Okay. A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh my gosh, you delved into.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And this is with she's now really famous, but I can't remember her name off the top of my head. It'll come to me. Sorry, but that was right before she went to Juilliard, and then once she got to Juilliard, just took off. Yeah, so that was up at PCPA in Santa Maria. Some of your viewers may have gone there.
Gotcha. Wizard of Oz is next. There you are.
Yes, the Tin Man. Oh, that was so fun. With Liz Stewart and David Huber, also incredibly talented stage actors. Wow. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Thank you for your website. Your website has all this on it, as you know. And thank you. Got it from there.
Good. Well,
Light Up the Sky.
Light Up the Sky, which is
Oh
also
my
a
God.
very, it's like about, that's Kathleen Mulligan, another amazing stage actor, who now teaches up in Ithaca, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, really, really fun play. Yeah, that was really fun. Also kind of a play about the business of show business.
Okay.
And that played outdoors in Solvang, and also part of
Okay.
PCPA.
Next one, Games of Love and Chance.
The Game of Love and Chance. That was my equity debut. That was my first union job as an actor. With that's Francesca Ferradani, who's just a phenomenal stage and film actor as well. That was at San Jose Rep. That was my first union job. I had been working as an actor for many years, for several years, and then the director of that production, Timothy Douglas, decided to give me my union card and cast me in that leading role. Very thankful for that.
Got you. David, let's go over some more events for you. One word, Daisy.
Daisy. So not Driving Miss Daisy, but Daisy, the one I just finished. Yeah. So yeah. So Daisy. You want me to talk about Daisy a
Oh,
little bit?
please, please.
So Daisy is a really prescient play by Sean Devine, a Canadian actually, but it's about the U.S. presidential campaign of 1964, in which Lyndon Baines Johnson was
Yes.
was against Barry Goldwater. Barry Goldwater was the Republican, who had said that he wasn't against the use of nuclear warheads in Vietnam.
Okay.
And so Johnson's campaign used that awareness that they knew that people knew that, and they were really afraid of nuclear war.
Yes.
And the fact that a presidential candidate had said that he wasn't opposed to use of of a nuclear weapon, and this is, you know, what less than 20 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? So this was, you know, really in people's minds, and it was a big fear. And the Johnson campaign hired a real person named Tony Schwartz, who I play in the play called Daisy. And he really was a revolutionary sound theorist and sort of armchair psychologist, and knew how to use sound and psychology to get the person elected that he thought should be elected. And so he and an advertising team created this ad that your viewers and listeners may be aware of, called Daisy. It only played once in 1964 as a little girl picking daisies, picking petals off a daisy, and she's counting them. And then you hear this very male authoritarian voice counting down like a rocket launch. 10,
you want to hear
9,
it? You want to see it?
Oh, yeah.
Roll it, Tony.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 8, 9,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow, what a play. As I read it, I had a lot to say. They made an ad about it, which we understand they had one time, like you said, September 7th. Great piece of work, great piece of work. You said Tony Schwartz. Tony, you got that picture of Mr. Schwartz? There he is. We do our homework. That young man was generous. He used to go around with a camera, a microphone, and take pictures and take sound. He was something else. And you play that role.
Yeah, which is, you know, it's a bit daunting to play somebody who actually was a real person, who was alive, who was well known.
Yes.
And that could, for an actor, that can be a blessing and a curse, because if you try too hard to just emulate the way that person looked or sounded and everything, you can sort of lose your way. And I think it's really important to look at the play. So this play that Sean Devine wrote is its own piece of art, and the character of Tony Schwartz fulfills a particular dramaturgical role in this play in order for the audience to have a good time watching and listening to this play. So I did a certain amount of research because Tony Schwartz, the real Tony Schwartz, is incredibly fascinating, and he's considered a legend, especially in sound design and political advertising. And so I did a little bit of that research and certainly watched some interviews with him. And then I spent a lot more time on understanding my function in this play and what function does the character of Tony Schwartz serve to make this piece of art, this play, really successful. And that's about relationships, the relationships about people in the play, the dynamics between him and everybody else, and also about his agoraphobia. Tony Schwartz was an agoraphobic in real life, and that's certainly part of Sean Devine's play. And so I needed to do some research on, what is agoraphobia and how does that, manifest in the person's life. And that was just fascinating. That's one of the things I love about acting is I'm always learning about new things. Yeah, so it's great. And in fact, I was surprised to learn about, there's assumptions that we make about agoraphobics that turned out not to be true. I just so happen to be married to a doctor of psychology, so she is really helpful when it comes to learning about psychological issues like that. And so I had several conversations with her and did some research on my own to understand how does a person who's afflicted with this behave.
See. You said that the play has already closed.
Well, no, it's streaming now until the 7th, I think, which is this Saturday. So through Saturday, it's been streaming for a week. We were originally supposed to do it live in the theater back in the spring, and then for obvious reasons, and through the singular tenacity of Karen Desai, the artistic director of International City Theater, she, went into a contract with the SAG-AFTRA union and was able to get the same actors who were cast in the theatrical production to do the Zoom production, which we did in our own homes. So I did it right here where I'm talking to you in front of my blue screen, and the costumes were all delivered to my house. The props were all delivered to my house, and we rehearsed it for a couple of weeks and then recorded it on Zoom. And then it was edited together because, there's the Zoom delay and you can't really hear more than one person at the same time on Zoom, which is deadly for a play. Pauses are just deadly in plays. So thankfully our editor was able to, take separate audio tracks from those Zoom recording sessions and then put it together into a really dynamic audio play.
We got time for a couple more questions. One is, what's your next acting gig?
Oh, I have no idea. Right now, I'm finishing up a film that I'm directing. That was really a project that I was supposed to direct with my students at Cal State Fullerton, where I teach. But because of the COVID-19 situation, I turned it into film. So I'm in the final stages of editing that, which is really fun. Also, another thing I'm learning a ton about, working with a professional film editor and creating a new piece of art. But I have no idea what's next for me. So you can tell all your friends I'm looking for my next job.
Got you. We'll put the word out real quick.
It's hard right now, and just for actors everywhere. It's a tough time to be an actor. Thankfully, I have my teaching position that provides a level of security for me. But so many actors that I know personally have lost their health insurance and have lost their income because they can't work right now. I know of some actors who are working in some television and film that are beginning to, productions that are beginning to happen, but it's a really tough time. So, we're doing the best we can in this situation.
Okay. All I can say to end this interview is the smell of the grease paint, the roar of the crowd.
Thank you for being such a fan of live theater.
Oh, yeah.
And it will come back. I really believe that what we're all going to want after this is over is to be in the room together, experiencing great art, experiencing things that can only happen among humans in the present moment. And that's what theater is about. And so I can't wait for theater to roar back.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, it's nice to meet you. I look forward to being another time to see you. Really appreciate you being here today. As we always say, break a leg.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm how old am I today? I'm can't tell you that. Take good care. Nice to meet you. Definitely.
You too, Ron. Take care.
Okay. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Ladies and gentlemen, to our Actor's Choice Tax Squad, we're excited to announce that we're expanding into e-commerce. In 2021, the Actor's Choice will launch a new product line, including t-shirts, mugs, totes, backpacks, sweatshirts, water bottles, caps, and so many, many others. And a slide note, t-shirts come in men and women's sizes, and not all designs are available in both. Now, some items will be a special order, but you'll have to be able to buy all of your merchandise on our website, located at www.theactorschoicela.org. And another source will be announced at a later date. So please stay tuned for more exciting news, and we'll have a holiday surprise just for the Tax Squad. To be updated on our product launch and all the other happenings within the Actor's Choice, go to our website and sign up for our monthly email. That's www.theactorschoicela.org. And thanks again for being loyal. Tax Squad members, thanks again. And finally, if you have a product, a service, or an upcoming event that you'd like to see advertised on this program, please call 323-533-1036. That's 333-533-1036. Our prices are very affordable. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony. My next guest today is one of the executive producers of the Inner City Short Film Festival and Awards Show, scheduled for Wednesday, November 4th. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please, an old friend, Ernest Dillihay. Ernest, good day to you, my brother.
Hey, how you doing, Ron? Man, where'd you find those photographs, man? You're exposing me. What's up?
Hey, we're here. That's what we're here for, talking to the whole world.
Yeah, okay. I guess that's a good thing then.
Yes. And welcome again to the Actor's Choice. If you saw a picture, Ernest has been on our show, what, 3 or 4 times? And
in the last couple of years, yeah. Always appreciate it, man. It's a great platform.
Hey,
thanks again for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. So that reel that we just showed has a message. Would you please tell our viewers and listeners what that message is?
Well, I call it we call a program with a purpose. We've been working on for a while, but I would say initial kickoff was 2015 when we started celebrating 50th anniversary celebrations, milestones, the inner city, in the history of the Inner City Cultural Center. And this is the 55th anniversary. So we have 5 years ago, 55th anniversary, and here we are with a program with a purpose, and that is this year we're doing the Inner City Short Film Festival and Award Show. A lot of those photographs that you saw, people there will be receiving awards. And the point is that the Cultural Legacy Project is actually a concept to build a new Inner City Cultural Center with a memorial library named after C. Bernard Jackson, who was the progenitor where the genesis of the Inner City Cultural Center took place his mind's eye actually on this campus here, UCLA. And that's why one reason why I'm wearing it,
yes,
in homage to Jack Jackson, who was at UCLA, along with several other alumni as part of this history. The late Dr. Beverly Robinson introduced me to the Inner City Cultural Center. Now, the other alumni included George Takei, Lula Washington, Manti Whitfield. You have people from the LA Rebellion, who are those filmmakers like Ben Codwell and Julie Dash and Larry Clark and Jaime Garima. Those are all UCLA people that were associated with Inner City Cultural Center, including Josie Dotson, that one of the awards is named after, and a photographer at the time, his name was Urban Payak. So I have to, hats off, or my hats on to Jack and them. But this is what this year, especially, where we update people as to our progress about this new building concept that we have, but while we also celebrate those people who have, and over the years have a tremendous legacy, which they have lent to not only the Los Angeles art and cultural landscape, but across the nation. And most of these people, if not all of them, are representative of what the Inner City Cultural Center represented. So I hope that explains a little bit about what's going to happen on November.
Right. Because a lot of people didn't even know who's C. Bernard Brown. Who's that?
Yeah, I mean,
who's he? Who's he?
I mean, they don't. And see, this is one of those hidden gems, because again, it's about who's telling the story, and what we're doing. Everything that we do, we document. We have Jack's tremendous body of work that serves as the foundation for the archives. They placed in a library named after him. Now, it was interesting that when the center was formed in 1965, Jack's favorite writer was Langston Hughes. So within the Inner City Cultural Center, Jack put right outside the library a picture of Langston Hughes with a sign on the door that said Langston Hughes Library. Okay, now we're kind of flipping it, because Langston had an effect on Jack as a writer, a composer, and so on and so forth. Jack Jackson, all of those who don't know, because he established the first multicultural, racial, performing and visual arts institution in the country, which was unheard of at the time, which brought all these cultures together under one building, was very important and helped change forever in 1965 the cultural landscape. So what we say is Jack was unequivocally and unapologetically diverse and inclusive before it became the day's trend. So the original genesis, as I like to say, the OG of diversity and inclusion is the Inner City Cultural Center, and we're claiming that space because Jack did it. He planted the flag, and we're, continuing the journey. Let me say that, okay?
Get the feeling that you had a chance to meet this man and you know him.
Oh man, Jack, everybody knows Jack's famous nod, contemplating, deep thinker, right? Now, he wasn't always committed, but he was committed definitely to one thing: communication, collaboration, and creating amongst and having that dialogue amongst the so-called minority groups at the time, because he believed, that art was a very powerful vehicle. And as he said, art with art is the only tool we may have left to save ourselves from destruction. So we take that as a note and we continue that dialogue. I took my first writing class when Beverly Robinson told me about it. Ran down into the city, took my first writing class, and I just wanted to take the writing class. Next thing I knew, look, I've been involved 55 years hence. So what can I say? Yeah, Jack was, such a gem to everybody, and with care and thought and action. The man just started with an idea, Ron. And the people that came through it, tremendous. And I say to people, at this point in time, we have more resources, contacts, experience, degrees than Jack did at the time that he started. So we cannot do anything less than make this a permanent place, because we missed having that place as a home. So we want to reestablish that. So yeah, I can't take you can get 1,000 people on here to talk about Jack as much as I can, but for those who knew him, we understood. So we just want to carry it, forward.
Tony, can you put up the picture of Jack and then the picture of Jack with the sign? There you go. There's Jack.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Jack was multilingual. Jack was fluent in Spanish. He wrote music in Spanish. He helped translate plays into Spanish. He worked extensively with Carmen Zapata and the Bilingual Arts Foundation, who was housed in the center. He was learning French, and he was also learning Korean, because as the community was changing down there on 1308 South New Hampshire Avenue, Jack wanted to be there. You know, man, I could go on, but I mean, that's who he was, you know, a lyricist, a composer, a writer, a social activist. I mean, you know, as they call him, artivist today, you know, but that was Jack. And he was, you know, he was ahead of his time, but I mean, his time is still now, but people are catching up where Jack was. Okay. So, you know, we're going to advance it a little bit further, and with a 21st century model for building with all the technology, the ability to capture our archives, reshape and tell the stories of not only the current generation, but those that will come. You say, well, this place, this library will be a place where you can check art out or check art in.
Tony, could you put that picture up of the award sign? There it is. There it is.
Yeah, we were able to, you know, a square is a very interesting designation. And there's only a few squares throughout the city of Los Angeles. Right. We had, I think we did a Duke Ellington Square. We did a Carmen Miranda Square. We did this particular square. There may have been others while I was working for the Department of Cultural Affairs, you know, as its performing arts director. We said that corner, that intersection of Pico Boulevard and New Hampshire Avenue, we have to have it. Now, people can ask when they want to, but as long as that name is there, now we have Google, just Google C. Bernard Jackson, and you'll see. And we just want to make it known. I mean, I actually, you know, Jack as an OG, the original genesis of diversity and inclusion in today's world, definitely not only needs a square named after, he needs a star on Hollywood.
Amen, brother. Amen.
You know, I mean, people got, you know, people have to know. And people, you know, they forget. So we have to keep these stories alive, because, you know, as generations go on, right, they will have forgotten the origin. You know, we always say the people whose shoulders we stand on. The whole industry was different in 1965. So people, I mean, there were only 3 television stations, and you can imagine the type of roles that people had then. And Jack was doing non-traditional and colorblind casting and blowing people's minds. So we still need to blow up a few minds. And you this thrust. Anyway.
Got you.
Yeah.
The members of the LA Inner City Cultural Center are currently working on a number of projects related to ICCC. And one of them, of course, as you say, is the 55th anniversary.
Yes, and that's coming up in November. In fact, it's the day after tomorrow, which is, you know, the big day. There's a big day tomorrow, but we're the day after now. This is not the Doomsday Film Day.
Right.
This is us with an entirely new direction. Not only for Los Angeles, but for the country. That's what we're looking at as well. So yes, Wednesday, November 4th, we open the doors at 5:30 and we start at 6 o'clock on November 4th. We have a Zoom link out there and so on and so forth. So everything is virtual now. Otherwise, we'd be in the theater. Yeah, but that's one of the projects. There are others that we're working on. James Burks produces an annual Readers Theater. We're also working on a second edition of a copy called Out of the Ashes, which was a pictorial photographic history of the Inner City Culture Center. So we're working on the second edition as a part of that. And then, of course, we have a new team of people that are working on putting the package together, to fund this development. We'll be doing a lot of fundraising. We'll be looking for expanding the board, creating a national advisory board, because we have people out there nationally that can help us support us. And then lastly, on that long range, we're still gathering information finally on the documentary film that we have to do on the history of inner city and its impact locally and nationally. But there's a lot on the plate, but we're up to the task, and we have to be, because this can't go undone. Okay, that's the way we feel about it.
This year, November the 4th, will also be the first IC Short Film Festival and show, of course, the award show. Let's start with the Short Film Festival. How many entrants do you have for that festival?
This year, and this is our first year of doing this, and we expect to expand beyond this. A very interesting concept that Tuesday Connor brought to us is, she's one of the inner city babies, so we said yes. So we've gone through this learning curve, but we have 7 entries this year that have gone through the process and are that we're going to exhibit so that everybody can see. At the end of the show, we'll name the winner. We have 3 winners, first, second place, and honorable mention.
Gotcha.
And interspersed between this, we will be, presenting awards to, some of those people whose photographs that you've seen.
A lot of people ask the question, well, what's the importance to a new or young filmmaker about a film festival? Why would people want to go to a film festival?
Well, we go back, you and I, at least, I think, go back to an era where, what's a filmmaker? Who can show us how to do?
Right.
Now we have platforms. So those people with creative ideas, new voices, that's what it's really all about.
Yes.
Diverse and inclusive voices. That's what inner city is all about. So we wanted to provide a platform for those new voices out there. And also a part of the criteria was that anything reflects core values and principles and philosophy of what the Inner City Cultural Center was all about. So in these films, for people who just short, because we're saying films under 5 minutes, it could be a 30-second. You could hit it with 30 seconds. If your message is good, it's that kind of thing. So we're offering that. Those are new opportunities because, again, everybody that we see in the media began in the stage, screen, and television, et cetera, began somewhere. And we like to serve as that platform so that this can become the home and like the go-to home when you have no place else to go. Come to the inner city. I remember at inner city when people would come into Los Angeles. I mean, you name it, Alvin Haley, Haley, not Haley, or even Alex, for that matter. Gregory Hines, or somebody would come into town. They would come directly to inner city to find out everything they wanted to know about anybody. Well, you know what so-and-so is? And we were information central, okay? We don't have that home anymore, but it's that kind of thing. So people have attachments. So we want to kind of recreate that environment because it's very important. So new voices and filmmakers, because now you have your phone. You don't have to carry around any 35mm film and go processing and cutting and splicing and dicing and all that kind of stuff. So we want to be at that advanced now. And Jack, again, was ahead of his time then. We want to be ahead of that curve and offer this platform for young filmmakers. Storytellers, that's what they are.
Right.
Storytellers. Poets, writers, singers, all of them. They tell a story through their self-expression.
Love to have them here on this show so let people see who they are.
Yes,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Then there's the annual Inner City Awards. Who are the awardees this year?
Okay, now I'm doing this. Robert Hooks. I'm not going to tell you all about him. You got to come and see why we're giving him the C. Bernard Jackson Legacy Award. Okay, we have Ernie Hudson, who's going to receive the Inner City Ice Award. We have Pat Harvey of
CBS 2, Channel 2.
CBS 2. Excuse me, I always get this nomenclature. Who's receiving a Diversity and Inclusion Award, along with Teresa Samaniego, who's also receiving from ABC 7, who's receiving a Diversity and Inclusion Award. Nobuko Miyamoto from Great Leap, who is receiving the Elaine Gail Koshki Josie Dodson Award. We're giving a posthumous award to Dennis Wilkerson, who was a tremendous technical director at Inner City. And let me see, did I cover 6? Don't let me miss anybody. What was it? Robert, Ernie, Pat, and recently. That's somebody else. Gotta be somebody else. Oh my God. Oh, never use your memory, man.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it works.
Sometimes.
But keep going. I might get. I hope I got everybody. I don't want to leave anybody out.
That's you. The Diversity and Inclusions Award. These are 2 special awards. Why are they given?
Well, it happened. I don't know if it was 2015 or whenever it happened when we were doing the first annual 50th. And this whole blow up came about, the Oscars 2-way. So there was this tremendous trend, so to speak, of people recognizing something that should have been recognizable was that the industry was not diverse and inclusive enough. So we decided, well, hey, actually, again, this is as part of this historical note. That's how the Inner City Cultural Center started. Without an afterthought, it was just a part of the universe that we lived in at the time. And people really kind of, what are these people doing? Multicultural, diverse, So we decided to claim the space and to present awards to people who were actually, who have gone through the ranks, so to speak. They've seen it. And they also represent by their image and the way they carry themselves professionally and otherwise, whether it be an organization or an individual. I think the first year we presented this award, the first time we presented this award to Actors Equity Association, a 104-year-old organization who hired their first diversity and inclusion director. And we've continued to look out and see who best represents, again, the core principles and philosophies of inner city. So Pat Harvey and Teresa Samaniego are what we call our DNI awardees this year.
Got you. I hear that there's going to be a bunch of celebrities. How do you get a chance to get tickets for it?
Well, we have, you can go to innercityculturalcenter.org on our, we have a Zoom link. I can't even with that.
And a website?
Link. Yeah, you can go there. We have filmfreeways.com where you can go and you can, what we call, the event is free. You come through the Zoom link, it's free, but we also have Film Freeways where you can go for what we call a ticket, whether it be a free ticket. And you can also say, well, I'd like to donate X number of dollars, is a suggested donation. Some people have already given a suggested donation, plus they have given even more. So those are the ways, and we can also, I'll give you a number, 213-234-1717. Call, leave a message. We'll respond to you if you're having any kind of problems or issues. Also email us at innercityculturalcenter@gmail.com, and we will respond also to any call or requests.
We got just a few moments left, but I just want to make sure we get this in. ICCC is a nonprofit organization, right?
That's correct.
Been around for a long time now, right?
That's correct.
Diverse organization, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's a need for donation and support organization. Yes. What I'm leading up to, talk to our audience about the need for funds to carry on these events, please.
Okay, well, we are all volunteers. We all have things to do, but I mean, look, when we put out, I hate to use, but I'll use the term. It's like when we say, well, who are we going to call? We call our alumni, and everybody that you see participating has answered our call. Yes. All volunteers. However, these things, do cost, because we don't like to have everybody do everything for free. But, the people give us, a break. But for all of our programs, we try to get, at least to be at a zero-based budget. We never want to go into the negative like most businesses. So we accept donations, large and small, and we apply them to our programs. And we're even opening up a separate account as we're moving forward, what we call all you churchgoers, the building fund. So we will have the building fund for our organization, for the new Cultural Center and Library.
Super. How can you get membership in LAICCC?
Again, anybody who's interested. We also have what we call of course, we have we call it Facebook page, yes. Los Angeles Inner City Cultural Center. We also have an alumni page called the Alumni of Inner City Cultural Center. And again, email us because we can talk to you about membership moving forward, which will be maybe a very important part of our fundraising effort, will be about membership. And I mean, you can also get on the mailing list so you can be apprised of any future programs that are forthcoming.
Okay. Could you run it by us again? I brought up the Cultural Legacy Project. Can you tell us what that is?
Okay, the Cultural Legacy Project is the new Los Angeles Inner City Cultural Center, C. Bernard Jackson Memorial Library.
Yes.
And that is where we house the collected works of C. Bernard Jackson, inner city alumni, artists and arts organizations and other cultural workers, where people can donate their work, gift their work, bequeath their work to us, because we want to be the repository for someone who comes into the library and gets their card at 5 years old. That person in 35 years might be a C. Bernard Jackson, and we want to be the home for that person so that they can come back and speak with us, exhibit their work by film or visual arts, or read their work. We want to be that cultural center like Inner City was in 1965. We want that to be the cultural center of the future and forever, because archives and collections are forever.
Ernest, thank you very much for stopping on by. Really appreciate the good word you have. One more time, date, place, and time.
November the 4th, 2020, 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:30. When I say the doors, the Zoom room opens at 5:30. And then come in and join us. Of course, after that, the end of the show, we're going to have breakout rooms, so you can run around in any one of these rooms and meet celebrities. And when we say celebrities, meet our people, meet each other, and let's talk about continuing our stories and helping us build this institution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate you, brother.
Much thanks to our guest today, veteran actor David Nevell, and Inner City Short Film Festival executive producer Ernest Dillihay. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. Be well. We'll see you next time.